All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year to everybody. My name is Matt Sabala. I'm an annuity sales director here at IAMS, and we're going to talk a little bit about Indexalyzer today, which some of our agents are already using, and is a really, really useful tool for a lot of different reasons. Number one, to keep you in compliance with the DOL and the new rules that are coming down this year. Number two, to help you make more sales. And I think that's the most important reason, along with helping you really truly determine what the best possible options are as far as allocations go, and can also help you position the right product for your client. But before we get to those opportunities with Kent Jacquay and Indexalyzer, let's discuss our value prop here at IAMS very quickly. Spend about 5-10 minutes on this, and I'll hand it off to Ken. I know you guys will be interested in what he has to say. So for people new with us here at IAMS, and I see some people here on the call that are definitely going to be taking advantage of this new producer bonus. During your first 6 months contracted with us, you have an opportunity to meet these different thresholds of production that allow for us to keep your sales funnel full. So I'll give you an example. Last year, very quickly, I recruited a couple of people actually who met that $1 million level. And one of them really liked to do seminars. So we were able to put on 3 seminars for him towards the end of last year that have his sales funnel full going into 24, so he can keep running at the pace that he was at and actually increase the amount of business that he's bringing in during the first part of 2024 to help him meet some goals that we put in place together. But there are different thresholds that you hit. It's dollar for dollar on FIA business. Any business that you do as a MIGA counts as half, and life usually counts times 10. So we'd love to help you meet those different levels of production with our new producer builders program, because it's a great way for somebody who is currently producing to continue to bring in more business newly contracted here at IAMS. Just like you guys, a referral is the best possible way to bring a new agent on board. So you're our clients, just like when a client that you service will refer somebody to you. We believe that those relationships give us the best possible, opening for a successful relationship long term. So if you have an opportunity to refer somebody to us and you think we're doing a good job by you, and you do refer somebody to us, we'll give you $50 once they get contracted with us, and that's not a huge deal, I realize, but when they write business, there is a major opportunity for you. We'll pay you a percentage of the business that they do, and we write thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every quarter. Our ownership group does to producers like you, just for the referrals that they've given us. So it keeps it simple for you. You don't have to develop a whole agency. You can just refer people to us and get paid on that business. We definitely want to reimburse you for those relationships that you help us get started. There are 3 things I think we do really, really well at IAMS. One of them is our back office support. So we have people who are experts with every one of the carriers that we work with. They will help your business. They'll follow your business from submission to commission. So let's say you submit a North American case. We've got an expert on the life side, an expert on the annuity side. Actually, we've got several with that carrier because they do such a significant amount of business with us, who, if there's ever something needed or ever something you need to be considerate of, they're going to try and make sure that you know before it creates an issue, or if an issue does pop up, that we're there to help you as your representative to get that business pushed through as quickly as possible. We've got a great team on the annuity side. We've got Mackenzie and her group. On our life side, we've got Michelle and her group, and then we've got our back office contracting support as well. If you need help, put us on your payroll, put us on your staff, not your payroll, and let us take a lot of that off your plate so you can spend time doing what you do best, closing business. Another way to be more efficient is definitely e-submission. If you're not using Firelight, talk to me, talk to your annuity or life sales director. Let's get you familiar with that. It's going to save you time, most definitely, in the long run. It has a slight learning curve. I wouldn't say it's steep at all, but it does have a learning curve. We'll help you get familiar with it when you submit business via Firelight. It does a couple of things. One, it's going to tell you where you're missing information and where you need to include something, so it won't actually let you complete the app until you've got all the boxes filled in. And two, it allows our team to quickly scrub that business for you before it goes to the carrier, so we can head off anything that might have caused you issues otherwise. And so you can access this through our website. In fact, that's the way that we make sure it's scrubbed before it goes to the carrier. It's just a couple of clicks away. If you need help getting familiar with it or learning how to access it, let us know. Believe me when I tell you, it'll save you time, and it will also save you money. Carriers are doing a couple of things. Some are incentivizing you to write via Firelight by giving you like a $500 bonus when you submit an electronically submitted application right now. Others won't pay you as much commission if you don't, because it costs them money to have people go through those paper apps too. It's a faster way to submit business, and even with an older client, it can be a much, much more efficient way to do that. If you have questions, give us a holler. We're happy to help you out. The second thing that I think we do really well is creative marketing. We do everything from business cards to brochures, websites, radio, TV. We do it all. And we have people here in-house who understand the language that you need, who understand compliance. We have a team of creative marketing specialists here who all they do is work in financial services. And because of that, it's not a profit center for us. We can do things a lot cheaper than somebody down the street can, and oftentimes we can do it better. So if you have not had your comprehensive marketing analysis, where we figure out what your goals are for this year, and we back into what marketing it's going to need to take to get you there, and then we put a plan in place for you to make sure you reach your goals this year. If you have not had that, give your annuity sales director or myself, Matt Sabala, a call. We're happy to go through that with you, no charge, because at the end of the day, all we want is your success, because that's how we win too. That's how your clients win. Give us a call. I'd be happy to walk through that with you. And also we have some great webinars that we've done in the past, and some good examples of some of the different lead generation that we offer. And we're very, very good at this. I've worked some other places that aren't, and I've never seen a company implement it quite as well as we do and offer it to their clients at no charge. That's not a service you get everywhere, that marketing analysis. So take advantage of that. Our website is another really good resource. We've got everything you may need on there to help improve your process, your sales process, and even some canned marketing material. I say some, there's a ton on there that you can just slap your logo on it, your colors. Our creative team can even do it for you. So you can increase your social media presence, so you have something to put in your window to advertise a great rate, and everything in between. All the different sales tools from Annuity Rate Watch, Retirement Analyzer, the electronic submission apps, and all the different sales resources that I was talking about are on our website. We've got thousands of pieces on there. If you need help learning how to navigate that, or you just want to walk through, again, give us a call. It's what we do. Contact your annuity or life sales director. We'll walk you through that. IMS Wealth Management. So back in 2016, 2018, when the Department of Labor was looking at changing how we do business, that was when we decided to be proactive and create IMS Wealth Management to act as fiduciary for our producers if needed. Turns out we didn't need that at the time. The changes the DOL was making were largely shot down back in 2016, 2018, but that's all up for discussion. In fact, there is new ruling going into effect this year. IMS Wealth Management is an excellent resource to somebody's securities license if you aren't, who you can take on a call and make sure you keep a client close so they're not having to go to another financial advisor. And if you ever do earn your 65, then we flip those clients back to you so you can earn a commission on them. But the worst thing you want to do is tell somebody you can't help them with what they're wanting. We always have a resource to you. IMS Wealth Management is a great way to do that. If you're interested in earning your license, let us know. You will not need your license based on what we think the current DOL ruling is going to look like, but it is a great way to expand the capabilities in your practice. And even if you don't want to do that, keep in mind IMS can help you expand the capabilities in your practice just by having a relationship with IMS Wealth Management. It doesn't cost you a thing. In fact, it's going to help you close more business because you'll be adding capabilities. Give me a call if you need more information on that. We're going to do a couple of quick polls. This is the first of it. If you'd like more information on IMS Wealth Management, please vote in this poll and let me know, and I will get you an introduction to a guy named Duncan Smith who can tell you how they can help you over there. And if you're interested in joining IMS Wealth Management, he can talk to you about that. So we'll just spend a couple more seconds on this, and we'll move right along here. We're almost done with my part of this. Thank you, guys. The third thing I think we do really, really well is life and annuity training. I'd add to that wealth management training, because we do that as well. I've been around the block. I worked at the largest IMO in the nation. I worked at another IMO where all the people who started all these IMOs throughout the country kind of all started at. And so I've seen a lot of the training in the industry. And what we offer here at IMS is unmatched in the industry. It's on par or better than anything else that I've seen. And one of the best resources we have is our 2-day annuity training, where we fly you out, all expenses paid. We put you up at a nice hotel to not discuss life and annuities 101, but high-level sales concepts, best practices from other top producers like yourself. The people that we've had out to these training events unequivocally take one or two things back to their practice that they can then implement to help close more business. And in most cases, the people that come out here to our life and annuity training get excited. They get really tied in. They increase the amount of business that they're doing with us to a pretty significant extent. It's been a very, very good thing for the producers. It's been a very good thing for IMS, and a great way to get started with us if you're a newer producer with us. If you have been with us for a while and you've never been out to one of these academies, there is a qualification for it, but we'd love to get you out. We typically do 4 or 5 of these per year. Let me know if you're interested, and that's actually the second poll. Real quick, are you interested in participating in our next Life and Annuity Academy? It'll probably be in March, maybe April, but we'll let you know as soon as we've got that date nailed down. If you'd like more information, please, please, please let me know. Just give it a couple more seconds on this, guys. Thank you for voting. Finally, we are big on incentive trips. That may be changing here with the Department of Labor ruling, but for now, we've got the Seaside Sanctuary that we are wrapping up qualification for, that we will be doing in April. We are doing another one called the Summit by the Sea that's sponsored by Athene, that we'll be doing towards the end in October of this year. That one requires about $3 million in production. This one here that we have on the screen, obviously a little bit more than that. If you are close to the qualification for this and you'd like to make it, let me know. We are doing some incentives to ensure that you can get there, and we can kind of address that on a case-by-case situation. The other one that we're still, right in the middle of qualification for, that'll be in October of this year. You have about $3 million that you need to qualify for, and we'll get you out to that. It's a great opportunity. Kind of a fraternal group ends up going. Most years we'll see some new faces, but a lot of times it's the same people, because they, are the producers who are driven, who really implement some of the best practices that they share with each other at events like this. And those people just tend to be more and more successful every year. So great opportunity to have a good time, and just share some thoughts with other top producers like yourself. Lastly, wouldn't be a presentation if I didn't tell you to like and subscribe us. So follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook. If you'd like the opportunity for your clients to do the same, let us know. We optimize social media posts and pages for our clients, which are you guys, the producer. So give us an opportunity to make sure that you look the part and you have the credibility online, just like we try to do here at IMES. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Kent and let him talk about Indexalyze. So Kent, I'm trying to give you permission, but I'm having trouble. Change it a little bit. Here we go. I think I got it. All right, take it away, Kent. Thank you.
All right, let me get my screen shared here. Show my screen. So are you seeing the Indexalyzer website right now?
I am. Looks good.
Okay. Just want to make sure we had the right. I've got multiple screens in front of me. I feel like I work at NASA. So, well, welcome everyone. My name is Kent Jacquay, and like Matt, I have been in this industry a long time. I actually got licensed back in 1995. Which is just that was the year the first index annuity was sold. They were actually invented in 94, and I got licensed, sold my first index annuity in 1997, and then just like Matt, I've made the rounds. I've worked at 7 different FMOs and actually own my own for about 10 years. And so during that time, I started creating all these little programs, all these little spreadsheets and calculators, and back in 2016, had a run-in with one of the top guys at the S&P 500 and the Dow, and he saw what I created, and he's the one that really encouraged me to do this as a company and not just get it in the hands of the agents at whatever FMO I was at the time. His point was, you know, everybody needs this information. His exact words were, Indexalyzer is the answer to the biggest problem we have in our industry. And so when he said that, that really made me kind of step back and think about, you know, what I've created and how can we make this usable for everybody selling index related products. And so we opened the company up about 5 years ago, and we've been going strong and growing and just coming out with new stuff, building new things. We've got a lot of great things that are going to come in the future. And so let's just dive in and show you where we're at now and how it can help your practice. And if you have questions, go ahead and type those in. Matt will get those and share them. And then we can really see if this can be something that can help you. The main focus of Indexalyzer is to help you with that page on the application where you have to make the allocations. Okay, it's there. In my opinion, you know, there's 2 different pages in an application that give agents, you know, issues. Number one would definitely be the suitability page. That is a tough one. You gotta, you know, dive in and get all the information from your client. But I think the toughest page is definitely the allocation page. You know, where do you put the money? Because there's so many different things you can run into, you know, especially if you're using a product that has multiple indexes and multiple crediting methods. You know, you want the client to trust you, you want the client to buy in, but you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared to talk about maybe, you know, 4 or 5 different indices. You got to be prepared to explain how the crediting methods work, and then you got to be prepared to show an allocation model that will do a good job for your client. Sometimes when you're just looking at par rates, you're just looking at cap rates, it can deceive you a little bit if you don't know how these things really perform. So what we've done at Indexalyzer is we've taken all of these different crediting methods and we've ran a back test on them over the last 10 years, and we do it currently. So like right now we're in January, so our numbers are going to be really close to the carrier illustrations. But as we move through the year, we get into the spring and summer and fall, you know, we update our index prices every day. So you're going to see different numbers than your carrier illustrations, because most of those carriers, with the exception of one, they don't update their price. They update them in January or late December, and that's it. And so when you're showing illustrations in October, you're actually showing January numbers. And I'm here to tell you there could be a significant difference in return potential based on what month and really what day you sell these products. So what Indexalyzer does then is it runs all the issue, everything that's inside of a crediting method, the index, the the limiters, which are your caps, your spreads, your pars, the bonus, the fee, if there is a fee to buy up that par rate, everything is baked into a final return number. Now, those return numbers that you'll see here in a second, they are not meant to be predictions of the future. I think anytime you try to predict where an index annuity or what type of returns it's going to produce, I think you're treading into really, really tough waters there, because there's so many variables that can affect these things. It's not like, you can't Monte Carlo, an index and expect that to produce some sort of return. So what we try to do is simply just break down those returns so we can create an order of which one of the methods did the best. So let me show you some of the options you have available. So this is our website, Indexalyzer.com. This is IAM's landing page. This is where you would register, and we'll come back to that in a second. I've already logged in, so I'm going to go to the download reports section. And inside here, you have these different downloads. So you have carrier reports. This is one that will tell you all the rates, so you can get all the rates for the product, but you also get those 10-year performance histories. Chart reports is going to be if you need some extra ammo, if you're wanting to really dazzle or wow a client, or if you want to go after, if you're in a competitive situation and you want to kind of break down the other indexes that the other agent's offering, you can show performance. The top 50 reports are going to just be a basic report of where the best crediting methods are, but they're the 10-year products only, and you can actually select what state you want to see. And then if you want other options on any of these reports, we'll go into this here in a second, we have our FMO catalog. So you can see all the reports that Matt and his team can run for you. And then we have Renewalizer. So this is one of the best things we've come out with, because going out on review appointments is tough, especially if you've got rates coming down, or if you got, not so good performance. This is a way that you can run a reallocation report and see, do you have your client in the best performing options. Calculizer is used to show exactly how a crediting method works, especially the really obscure ones like Fusion and Sunrise, or the quarterly high water marks that are out there. So it'll actually give you a demonstration of how the numbers have worked throughout the last 10 years. So you can accurately explain to the client how the different crediting methods make money. Comparalizer is where you can go in and compare an index annuity with an allocation mix to bonds, to MYGAs, to CDs. So you can run a nice report that has a chart that will show the index annuity and how much better they have a chance of outperforming those other fixed alternatives, which is, back in 1994, when the Genesis Group created the first index annuity, that was the goal. They wanted to create a better fixed option, a better fixed alternative. And that's what we have to keep in mind with these products. I mean, the returns that they're showing now historically are like crazy high. But we have to understand that we're using today's rates up against, the last 10 years, and we had a really good last 10 years. So the goal is not to, again, to predict the future, but to find the best options inside of each product to allocate to. Then we do give a MYGA report. The MYGA report, the reason we do that is because we believe every time you sell an indexed annuity, like if you're selling a 10-year annuity today, you should go out and print that report and throw it in the client's file. Because if they don't achieve the same returns that carrier illustration showed them, let's say the illustration comes in at 12 or 13 and they end up, making 7.5 and they're upset. Well, you can pull that MYGA report and show them, hey, your best option outside of an index annuity would have been a MYGA. MYGA rates were, 6 or 6.1 on the day you signed this app. So the index annuity did 7.5. It did its job. It outperformed the other fixed rate alternatives. So let's go in and look at a couple of these. And again, if you have questions, type them in. Matt, if you have questions, feel free to ask, and then we'll start walking through these. So the first one here, the carrier reports. So when you download it, you only have to download it once. Once you get the spreadsheet, save it to your desktop. Every day when you go in, it's updated. So if a rate changes, it hits your spreadsheet automatically because the spreadsheet's actually tied to the internet, which brings me to a point. If you want to run these, you have to have an internet connection. So it's not going to work if you don't have an internet connection. So rates are updated instantly. Prices are updated every single day. So I went ahead and selected just a product here from American Equity. You can select your state and you can put in your client's age, put in the premium amount, and it's going to calculate the report. And you just hit the review report button. And here you go. You got all the data you need. If you were selling this product today, you could accurately explain the different indices that are available in the product. We put, descriptions that are more than enough for you to impress your client. We also put the launch dates because it's very important to understand whether or not you're looking at 10 years of live back-tested history, or if you're looking at 10 years of history that is hypothetical. And what I mean by hypothetical is we don't do any kind of like, Monte Carlos looking backwards, okay? If we can get the actual prices from the index provider going back prior to their launch date, we will include them inside of Indexalyzer. So we're getting that information straight from the index provider. And they only work inside of a rules-based index. You can see that on Credit Suisse here. The Tech Edge is a rules-based index. So that means that they're applying rules. There's not a human being coming in, sitting at their desk and making decisions about that index. The rules are set and they just apply them prior to the launch date. So even though we have to label that as hypothetical, they are accurate. That is exactly how the index would have been managed had it been launched back in 2013, 2014. So understanding, whether or not they're live or not is very important. Then you scroll down and you get, this is the heart of the report. So this is going to put in order from top to bottom which crediting methods in the same period of time with everything baked in did the best. And again, you look at these returns and you got 15, 14, 12, you don't want to put those numbers in your client's head. You got to explain to them the only reason we calculate these returns is because that's the only way we can bring everything into focus and have a way to compare which strategies, which methods are the best. So it gives you all the rates, the current rates, and then it breaks down and shows you those returns. So now you can start to come up with some allocation strategies, knowing which ones are the better performers. And then if you want some allocation, go ahead.
Hey, Kent, real quick, just what I think you said there is important. You don't want to just put those numbers in front of a client, but they are supposed to be making that allocation decision. So how do you help them make the allocation decision without putting those numbers in front of the client?
Well, I would put the numbers in front of them, but you need to explain the numbers. You need to explain to them that we're using a 410 participation rate, and we're using that every single year. Now, there's a chance that 410, if economic conditions change, that 410 could drop down. Okay, and we can actually go back here and demonstrate that in the product selection where you can put a drawdown in. So I'm going to put a 30% drawdown. So what that's going to do on the report then is it's going to lower down. It still will show 410, but what's happening is in years 2 through 10 in that back test, we've now lowered that 410 by 30% in each of the years, year 2 through 10. So what you can do then is print out 4 of these things and show a range of returns. That way you're not stuck to one number like you are with the illustration, and then you can have a nice spread of returns to show them, this is more what you're going to possibly see out of these crediting methods. So it's okay to show the returns, but you don't want to set the expectations that that's what they're going to receive. Explain that return column is meant to just create the order of which ones did the best in the exact same market time frame. And then what you can do is you can scroll down further and get different allocation options. So we've pre-built in, about 4 years ago, we took a poll of all of our subscribers and said, what is your favorite allocation method? Do you split it 2 ways, 3 ways, 4 ways? Do you split it, multiple ways? And so we took the most commonly used ones that they submitted back to us, and we put them into this report. So you can have a 50-50 split between the top 2, a 70-30, a 90-10, even split 3 ways, a weighted split 3 ways. Up here is an even 4-way split, or weighted 4-way, or a massive, this one has enough to do, 10. And then you can also do a 70-30, 70 going into the #1 performer and 30 going into the fixed. So understand that these are preset in your reports. If you wanted to see a different look at an allocation, that's where you would call IAMS, and Matt and his team can run any different allocation mix that you would want to see. So the whole idea behind the Indexalyzer subscription is, if you have the sale in the bag, you just need information to go out, you can get everything you need right here on Indexalyzer. If you run into a tough situation, like a competitive situation, or you've got that engineer client or that business owner, you need more ammo, that's when you can involve IAMS, and they can create some really cool stuff with the full version of our software that they have. So this is a great way, though, for your day-to-day, your easy sales, ones that no competition. You just need allocation information. You can go out and run these and quickly have your answers. So
I imagine with that drawdown ability, that's a really useful tool for annual reviews too.
it
For
is.
reallocations, do you see it used
Yeah,
for that?
for reallocations, let's just go ahead and segue into that. We would actually use a different tool. So if you look here on the list here, Renewalizer. So when you're going back out to see your clients and review their annuities, Renewalizer is built for that. You can actually take a client's statement and plug in all the different options that are on that statement. This is an actual live case. It's an older case, but you plug their name in, plug in the product or carrier name, and then even if they don't have money allocated to a certain strategy, you want to put it in here. So here we got up on top is the fix, so we got 0 allocated to that. And then we go through and we simply, these are drop downs. You just select the index they're in. We track over 170 different indices. So, I guarantee it's there. If it's not, we can get it in there really quick, but we cover pretty much the entire industry. And so you put in your dollar amount, select your index, select your reset, if it's annual, biennial, triennial, all the different resets, and then you select your crediting method. So whether it's monthly sum, monthly average, point to point, all the different funky ones, they're all in there. And then you put in your current rate, the rate that the client had last year, and you put in the new rate as well. There's a very specific reason for that. So here on the cap, and we have these little red triangles. This will give you hints on what you need to do, what goes in that column. So this is telling you if you have a cap, you must enter a par rate. So here we put in the par rate, and it instantly calculates based on the new rates what the 10-year historical looks like on that crediting method. So now once you get everything entered in, you've got all the historicals. So now you can go in and start looking at different reallocation options. So the first thing I want to point out here is this custom column. So now that you know the returns, you know which ones are doing better, you can come in and do your own custom mix, and it will show up on the report. And then let's go ahead and look at the report here. So this, I'm going to just show you a print preview of it, just to show you it's a one-pager. All the disclaimers are on it. Everything's good to go. And what it does is it shows their current allocation, and it runs the 10-year compound return, the back test, and then it shows some different options. What if you did a 50-50 split? So that would take your 10-year up to 4.7. So now you've increased it. Or you could do this, what would take it to 4.83. Or you could do a 3-way or a 3-way weighted, or you could do that custom that came in the best. So having that ability to go in here and do that custom is it's huge, because now you can show them exactly why you're suggesting the reallocation. So that's going to be a powerful tool for you. It creates a plan. You can walk into your review appointment, even if it's a down year, and show them a plan. And this, to me, is being a much better fiduciary than just walking in and just trying to give explanations why things aren't going so well, or or if they are going well, you don't really need to say anything. But the bottom line is, this will give you a plan to walk into those review appointments and really make an impact. Now, the reason why we have you put in the current rates and the new rates, is if there is a drop. And this is always, one of the worst parts about reviews. And honestly, I think it's one of the main reasons why agents don't like to go out on reviews. And the problem with that is you're missing potential new sales. They don't want to face these numbers if they go down. They don't want to have to explain it because they don't know how to explain it. Well, we give you another report here called explanations. On any of the downward moves, so if any of the rates worsened from last year to this year, they're going to show up on this report, and it's going to give you the actual economic data to why that rate went down. There's 5 things that move these rates. 2 of them we cannot track. If the insurance company had a bad year overall, if their portfolio was down, they're going to pass that on. There's no way to tell that. You call the carrier up and ask them that, they're going to laugh at you. Literally, they're going to laugh at you. They're never going to share that information. The other side of it is what we just went through. Q4. Q4 is the fire sale quarter of the year. If a product was sold during a fire sale, in other words, if the insurance company projected earnings to the prior year to their shareholders, they evaluate usually around October through the end of the year. Where are we at? Are we over our earnings? Are we under? Are we right on? If they're under, what they're going to do is start jacking their rates up artificially to bring in more premium so they can hit those numbers that they promise to their shareholders. When they do that, they're not going to give away free money. They're going to artificially inflate those rates with the plan that throughout the term of the annuity, they're going to start slowly taking back that money that they gave them up front in the form of a higher rate. So there's no way you can track that. So with those 2 set aside, we have the other 3 options: bonds, treasuries, volatility. Those are the culprits. So it'll literally break down every single one of these that had a drop. It'll tell you, okay, was it bonds? Well, bonds are down. With corporate bonds down, there could be a decline in your rate. Treasuries were actually up from last year to this year. So that could, have an increase or make it stay the same. Volatility went up. If volatility goes up, that means the rates are coming down. Volatility 9 times out of 10 is your culprit on why these rates went down. And guys, if you're under or if you subscribe to the school that one carrier lowers rates better than another carrier and blah, 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 it's really not the carriers. They might do that again if it's a fire sale issue, or if they were just, artificially inflating the rates for whatever reason. That does exist, but most of the time it's economic, and most of the time it's volatility. Because if that volatility goes up, what that means is when they reprice this for the next year, they're buying an option. And if volatility is higher on that option, that means there's a more expensive upfront cost to the insurance company. So they have to adjust their par rate to meet that cost. So volatility is a big thing you have to watch. And this just gives you a wonderful report, not necessarily one that you can show an agent, but for you to review. So if the agent does ask that question, why did that go down to 53? You're ready. You can tell them, hey, well, we've seen 2 things. We saw bond rates go down and we saw volatility go up. That's what caused that. That makes you look like a seasoned pro in front of your client. Like, wow, this guy really knows his stuff, or this lady really, understands, what I've purchased here. I'm so glad that they're monitoring my annuity. So this page is just revolutionary in our industry. No other systems come out with this to give you an explanation so you can not fall into that trap of a client being really upset because of rates going down, because we all know they do go down. Okay.
Hey,
so
Kent, that's good. I got a question for you, and maybe this gets you to your next point too. But I have producers ask, almost every day. I've got a client in an older annuity. It's not really performing well. How can I show that this is going to outperform it using a more modern indice or newer allocation options? And just basically, how do we help compare against products that a client may already be in? And how can we use this in like a competitive situation?
Absolutely. So and you can do that right here with the next tab. That's funny you asked that right now. Guys, I've been running the Index Resource Center now for 5 years. When we started, we were tracking 66 indices, 66, and that was 5 years ago. So what that means is from 1994 all the way up to the end of 2018, the industry had 66 indices. We now track over 170. So just in the last 5 years, we've seen over 100 new indices enter our market. Now, what does that mean? That means that even if a client has only owned an index annuity maybe 5 or 7 years, there are so many new options. And if you really want to be a fiduciary to your client, you need to look at switching them over. And obviously, yes, I was an agent. That's great when you can do that. It's an easy sale. But the bottom line is, it also is taking care of your clients, because we live in a different world now in this industry. I mean, you got most of Wall Street throwing their hat into our ring, and they're creating some amazing new products. So what you can use with Renewalizer is you can go in here, plug in the surrender value of the existing annuity, and then select a new annuity, put the bonus in, and that's going to calculate your new starting balance. And then you can go in and allocate to the options. You don't need to put every option in on the new product, just the ones you're going to use. You put in your allocation mix, you put in a drawdown. You have to do a drawdown with this, because it's not a fair comparison to show brand new rates, first year rates up against renewal rates. That is apples to oranges. To get that to a better, more fair comparison, you want to put a drawdown in. So once you enter in all those different options, then you go to the comparison page and look what it does. It will show the current balance of their annuity, what the surrender charge would be. And that's a funky number. You know, we used to have it to where you entered the actual surrender charge in, but we changed that because of MVA. Now we have you put the actual value in. So it's going to calculate the MVA correctly then. So it shows the balance of a surrender and then brings it over, shows the bonus and what their new starting value. So right here, you got a higher new starting value than you did before. So already they've made money by doing this. But now let's look at the options. So currently they're tracking at a 3.46 historical return. If you made changes within their existing product, the best you could get them up to is 4.83. But if you move it to this new product with a 35% drawdown, you can show them 7.41. So now it's, client, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay in the red line? Do you want to reallocate to the blue line? Or do you want to take advantage of Wall Street entering our market space, creating these great new products, and get into a new product and really sing with that green line there? The rest of the report just shows the different allocations between each of the options, and it's a nice 4-pager that you can take out. And guys, you can use this with your own clients. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to replace an annuity you sold 5 or 7 or 10 years ago. Again, because we've had these changes. It doesn't mean what you sold them was bad. You sold them the best thing 5 or 10 years ago. Now you're doing your job by analyzing their money and their products and saying, listen, we've had all these new changes. You're in a position, because you got to obviously look at suitability to make sure it's a suitable replacement. But now you're in a position where we can get you working, your money working harder with all these new wonderful crediting strategies that the actuaries at these companies have come up with, and all these new amazing indices. I mean, you look at the new product, look at these indices. The NASDAQ Gem 5 just came out. Then S&P Duo Swift just came out. The Raven Pack just came out. You know, these are all brand new. They probably didn't exist back when the client bought it. And this is a great tool to use with new clients, because, you know, we're now an industry that's not brand new. You know, more than likely you're running into potential new clients, and they own index annuities already. They've owned them for a long time and possibly don't even have an agent anymore. Because we went through a time period there where, you know, it's so easy to get your life insurance license. You get your license, you go out, you make sales to your mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle, next door neighbor. You do amazing. You get all this commission in, you change your lifestyle, and then you have to learn how to market yourself. And you find out how hard it really is. And you can't do it anymore. So you exit the industry. Now you've got all these people out there that own these annuities, and they've got nobody to take care of them. So you're probably running into these, and Renewalizer is a great tool to unlock those potential sales. That answer your question, Matt? I know that was a pretty long answer.
Yeah, that answers the first half of it. What about when you're up against another new annuity from another producer who may, just
Absolutely.
let's say you're competing against an American Equity product and you're working with Athene or something like that.
Yeah, the best way to do that, I think, is with chart reports. Go to the heart of the product. Go to the index. So if you're up against, let's say, like a Nationwide product that has, the JP Morgan Mosaic, it's one of the most popular indexes out there. You're going to come in and choose the Mosaic. There you go. Now you're going to get a 10-year chart. And again, this is as of yesterday moving backwards. So once you download this spreadsheet, again, you don't have to re-download it. You just save it on your desktop. All the new data will come in every day. So you got the chart of the Mosaic, and this middle one here, this is the one. This shows how the Mosaic did against what we call the Indexalyzer average. So that gray line there is the average movement of every index that we track. There's over 170 indices baked into that gray line to produce that average. So when you're looking at the Mosaic up against it, it's obviously a below average index. And then you can also go down here and look and see how that index does compared to equities and bonds. It's more down towards the bond number. So we're comparing that to the S&P 5. And again, there's no crediting in this. This is the pure movement of the index. So it's down closer to that Bloomberg USA. So this is a great way to blow away, the indexes inside. Obviously, you want to look at them ahead of time, but this is a great tool for that. Then you can come back and let's say you're presenting a product that has the CIBC Balance Asset 10 in it. So now it's going to shift, and we'll get the chart on the Asset 10. There it is. So now you've got the 10-year chart, and you come down here and you see, wow, that is very much above average, way above the Indexalyzer average. How's it look? Oh man, way much higher, way closer to the equity side than the bond side. So this tool here could be a fantastic tool when it comes to, showing one company or one product against another. Now, the other side of that, or another answer to that question, doesn't reside in necessarily the product or the programs you can download. That's when you can go into the FMO catalog and you can order all these different customized reports from IAMS. So they can actually throw one product up against another and compare each one of the crediting strategies based on that finalized return. And that would give you even more ammo to take out and really wow that client and win that competitive situation. You can order some incredible reports here. So like this one's probably the most popular one, the 1 year, 2 year laddering allocation strategy. This is where you're going to split the money 50-50 between a 2 year option and a 1 year option. At the end of the first year, you're going to move that 1 year option into a new 2 year option. So now you staggered your 2 year resets. So we can actually illustrate that on every product that has a 1 and 2 year option, and it allows this to happen. So we can literally show, column A here, that's the 2 year by itself. Column B is the 1 year mixed with the 2 year, and then it'll show that finalized ACR down here. So you can call and order this. So the idea behind Indexalyzer, again, is to give you enough to work with the reports that you can download to take care of your, simple, easy, what I call sales in the bag kind of appointments. But when you get into those competitive situations or you really need to wow or demonstrate your knowledge, you can order those customized reports from IAMS and have everything you need to really close anybody. I mean, seriously, I mean, we built these not just to demonstrate, how great we are with software. We built these because I've used these reports. I've used them in sales situations. We have hundreds, if not thousands of agents using these reports in sales situations, and they work. And that's what we build here. We build and show different ways, different methods to get that client to sign the dotted line. That's the goal. So that's exactly how it handled competitive situations. First with those charts, second with ordering that report from IAMS that would literally put those two products side by side and show which ones are better. And the other side of it too is you could just go into the carrier report generator, the one we had up before, and just pull the report on both of them. So if you're in a pinch, it's after hours or whatever, and you're going to see the client at 8 o'clock tonight, you can go out and run the report on the one you're selling and run the report on the one that the other agent's selling, and you'll have a great comparison.
Good stuff, Kent. We've got about 7 minutes, and we do have to finish on time today. I wish we could do this for another 2 hours, but I see this as a differentiator. For those agents that are using this with their clients, I mean, they're definitely going to improve their client relationship. But how do we market that? How can we use this to help market as a differentiator, as somebody who really does their homework?
Well, to be honest with you, I think the number one marketing opportunity that you have is with Renewalizer. I mean, if you just dive into your own files and just have your assistants or do it yourself, just start running Renewalizer reports. You can go each month and just look at all your statements and throw them in here and cherry pick out the ones that look the best, check your suitability regs, and boom. That to me, that'll bring you more business than probably any other marketing aspect you could have. The other side of it is, if you want to build presentations, you want to do workshops, you want to send out, you've got all the data that you would ever need to backfill any marketing campaign that you wanted to present. So we don't necessarily do marketing pieces here because everybody's different. Everybody has different styles. Everybody, not everybody likes to do workshops. Not everybody, that's what IAMS can guide and direct you. What we can provide is just phenomenal information for you to put inside. We're more the content. But as far as marketing, I don't think there's anything better than just going through your own files and finding those replacements, because they're there, guys. They're there. I mean, with the volatility control being introduced just a few years back, and just all the new indices, you have a chance to really take care of your clients and make more money at the same time.
Good stuff. Kent, do you have time for a question?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sonny asked, balanced indices like the BMP, I think he says the BMP IMAD5, which I think maybe an Athene indice, you would know better than I, have a short history. Do you see these tending to optimize strategies before inception? And basically he's asking, and do they not perform well after they go live? Have you seen much of that?
We've seen that, but what you have to understand is we're looking at 10 years of history, and you're comparing that to 1 year of performance. And so you got to understand that the index annuities are not stocks, they're not mutual funds, they're not products that you can just buy one day and 3 days later sell them for a profit. You've got those surrender charge schedules in there. You're buying these for long term. So to compare 1 or 2 years, you're saying, oh, this thing back test is so good, but man, that first year was just terrible. Well, if you break down, the back testing, like there's some reports that you can get from IAMS that will actually show sequence of returns. To produce, a 7.95 return here doesn't mean that it did 7.95 each year. There were some years where it did 0. There were some years where, if it had a fee, you went negative, but you had really big movement years that offset that. So it's hard to look at these new indices and say, well, yeah, the back test looks good, but man, I saw actual performance this year and it wasn't that great. Yeah, that's going to happen. And the other thing you have to understand is, even though these indexes were launched in 2022, 2023, if they're rules based, then you can trust that back tested data, because it doesn't matter when they launched it. They're using the exact same rules, going back into history and applying them. So you can trust that data. And if you want to learn more about that, I was hoping I had a chance to bring this up. Next week, we are doing a 2-day live virtual conference where we're going to have representatives from the indices come in and talk about not just their indices and how they work, but they're going to go through and explain. We've got all these educational topics they're going to cover. And at the end, we have this product design spotlight that is just going to be amazing. It's going to teach you how to look at product like you've never looked at it before. I mean, we have Derek Ferguson is going to be live with me. We're actually hosting this from the trading floor, the options trading floor in Chicago. And Derek's flying in from Toronto to be on this panel. And he basically is part of he invented the very first index annuity, him and his team. And so we've got an actuary from a carrier. We've got Niju Vaswani. He's developed some of the most interesting products that the industry's ever seen. So if you really want to learn about these indices and how all that stuff works, this is a great conference. It's a virtual conference. I believe, Matt, you guys probably still have some coupons you can send out to these guys so that it'll waive the $150 ticket cost. But guys,
we do.
I honestly, if you want to learn about these indexes and up your game, I mean, that's why we're doing this. So,
Kent, maybe you can talk about how people can join and get Indexalyzer through IMS. And while you were talking about that, I'm going to launch our last poll, guys. Would you like more information on Indexalyzer?
Yeah, so
just go ahead and vote here real quick if you don't mind.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And
Kent.
so to get an account, to get a subscription, you just come out here to indexalyzer.com/IMS. It'll bring you to this page. First thing you want to do is write down this coupon code, this IMS 007. So just think of James Bond. So IMS 007. And what you'll do is you'll hit the agent registration. You'll come through, make sure you're in the agent registration, continue signing up. And then when you get to this page where you're going to fill out all your data, right here it says have a coupon. You open that up and put in that IAMS 007 and hit apply coupon. And that's going to give you that 50% discount to get you down to only $25 a month. You also get a 30-day free trial. And there's no contract. You can stop it at any time. So you would just fill this out and boom, set your username will be your email, and then your password, you just get to pick whatever you want. So then when you come back in, and you can come back in just to indexalyzer.com. You don't have to go to the IMS. You only have to go to the IMS page to set up your account. But once you come back in, this log out will actually say log in. So you just click that, put in your credentials, and you have a chance to save it as well so you can get in real quick. And that's how you can get your subscription.
$25 a month, guys. Just one sale is going to pay for several years of this, and it'll close a lot more business than that. You also get Journey Mark.
Journey Guide.
Journey Guide, excuse me. Journey Mark is a product. Journey Guide, which is a really nice sales tool similar to a retirement analyzer or a track software if you're not familiar to it, but it simplifies and really helps out with your sales process. That being said, Kent, I know you want to go into this. We have to cut it short today.
Plus, you want to get the Journey Guide people on a webinar, definitely. But yeah, this is part of your subscription. That's the thing we need to share with you today. It's the most powerful retirement planning tool that focuses on index annuity sales. It actually has actual index annuity product data built into it. So it is phenomenal. You get this with your $25. Yes.
It's normally $100 a month on its own. So guys, thank you so much for joining us today, Kent. I've got to run. I sincerely apologize. We need to schedule the next one to go a little bit longer, but any closing comments?
The bottom line, guys, is, allocating index annuities is a tough thing. And I know that a lot of times we're just throwing darts and we're just guessing, and we're usually, swaying towards that S&P 500 because that's the one we can explain. What we want to do is get you away from that guessing, get you away from having a method that you're just kind of making up your philosophy. Use data. Use a data-based method of allocation. That way you're going to look stronger in front of your client and you have something to fall back on. It wasn't you and your ideas, it was the data. So that's probably the most important thing to understand when it comes to these allocations. And that's it.
All right. Thank you, guys. appreciate your time today. I will be in touch with those of you who requested more information, which was, by the way, 100% of people who voted in the poll. So thank you guys for joining us. I'll be in touch. If you have other questions, reach out to us here at IAMS 800-255-5055. Thank you. Take care.